Are you ready to see something crazy, strange, and truly unbelievable? Prepare yourself, because we're exploring justice from a unique angle today. The courtroom has witnessed everything from hilarious behavior to jaw-dropping confessions. However, have you ever considered what occurs when pandemonium takes over and the gavel falls? Are you curious to know about it?
So you committed the worst possible crime.
Number 1. Scott Nelson. In Florida, during his sentencing phase for the murder of nanny Jennifer Fulford, convicted killer Scott Nelson took the stand once more. When his defense asked him about the impact of his prior incarceration on his mental health, he responded startlingly. He declared, "I am a murderous madman." Thus, direct examination was terminated. Subsequently, the prosecution asked him if he would accept a death sentence. "Sure," he replied. This issue was raised in error by the defense, and the court upheld their objection. Nelson has asserted that there is another source of moral guilt for his crime. He maintained that the killing occurred as a result of his poor treatment by government and prison personnel. Number 2. Ryan Stone. Prosecutors claimed that a Colorado man found guilty of carjacking 3 vehicles, among which contained a 4-year-old boy, was given a 160-year jail sentence on Friday for the high-speed pursuit that was captured on live television. According to a statement from the Douglas County District Attorney's Office, Ryan Stone, 30 years old, was found guilty in April of 11 felonies, including attempted manslaughter and first-degree assault for wounds he caused to a police officer who attempted to stop him. Stone apologized to Douglas County District Court Judge Paul King for the 75-mile, 5-county criminal spree that took place in March 2014 and was seen on camera by a Denver TV station's helicopter. About 30 miles north of Denver, in the town of Longmont, Stone, who was sought for not showing up for court on drug charges, took a stolen sport utility vehicle outside of a convenience store, setting off the pursuit. Following a brief foot pursuit, Stone was apprehended after ultimately crashing the 3rd car. In phone calls that Stone made from jail and that the prosecutors later published, the suspect accused he of being the reason behind the state trooper's injuries. Number 3. Jordan Fuss. Man who caused a 2014 crash that killed a 6-year-old boy while drinking was given a 14-year prison sentence on Thursday. The 22-year-old Davie resident Jordan Fuss was trembling violently as he and his family entered the courtroom. The prosecution for the death of Santiago Giraldo sought the maximum 15-year prison sentence. Fuss's lawyer urged for a lighter sentence, saying that his client is so sorry that he thought of taking his own life. The Giraldo family sobbed as the defense pleaded for a reduced sentence. Number 4. T.J. Lane. T.J. Lane, who was serving 3 life sentences for an infamous rampage of high school shootings, broke out of an Ohio jail but was apprehended again. According to the authorities, now 19-year-old Lane and 2 other inmates scaled the main perimeter fence of the Allen Correctional Facility to escape. While Lindsay Bruce, one of the escapees, was apprehended quickly, it took the authorities hours to locate 45-year-old Clifford Operud. According to Warden Kevin Jones, Lane was apprehended early on Friday, roughly 100 yards behind the facility's fence. The most surprising thing was T.J. Lane started laughing at his trials. He didn't feel any guilt within him. What do you feel about this reaction? Number 5. Jaleel Smith-Riley. In a 3-year-old murder case, a man was sentenced to life in prison by a Hamilton County judge after he refused to withdraw his guilty plea. On August 11th, 23-year-old Jaleel Smith-Riley entered a guilty plea to aggravated murder and attempted murder. However, he later withdrew his plea against the counsel of his attorneys. Smith-Riley's change of heart was denied by Hamilton County Common Pleas Judge Charles Kubicki on Wednesday. who sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of release. Following his sentence, Smith-Riley fell into Kubicki's courtroom floor. Number 6. Jahleel Hoskins. Hoskins, 26 years old, entered a guilty plea to second-degree murder and evidence tampering as a habitual criminal offender before Kent County Circuit Judge James Robert Redford on Wednesday, December 11th. The unexpected action ended the trial's third day. During that time, Kent County Assistant Prosecutor Keely Conkey was putting together evidence to persuade the jury that Hoskins killed the young mother of 5 because he was afraid Mays would inform the authorities about his assault on the father of 2 of her children. Hoskins faced charges of open murder, which carries a mandatory life sentence without the prospect of release. Number 7. Ricky Hand. The 46-year-old Springfield, Ohio resident Ricky Hand was given a 40-year jail term in 2016 for armed robberies and for concealing pee and excrement in his arm sling while appearing in court. Hand was charged with disrupting government business, retaliation, and harassment with body substances while he was on trial for a string of robberies. Ricky Hand, 46, questioned the judge in court, saying, "Did you just give me 40 years, sir? I just got 40 years from you, and now for the surprise." And he grabbed beneath his arm for something. According to officials, Hand wore an arm sling and concealed pill bottles that were filled with pee and excrement. Number 8. Esteban Carpio. American killer Esteban Carpio was convicted of murder in 2005 and given a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He killed a detective while being questioned at a police station in Providence, Rhode Island. When Esteban Carpio responded to his life sentence with a chilling, laughing response, his case took an odd turn. Carpio, who was found guilty of killing a police officer, startled the entire courtroom with his heartless display of laughter. However, it didn't stop there. The already stressful scenario was exasperated when his family learned of his punishment. They cried out and accused the cops of being abusive. In the end, the FBI inquiry turned up no proof of excessive force, but everyone was left puzzled by Carpio and his family's puzzling responses. What do you feel about this? And that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to get more updates on celebrity news. Don't forget to click the bell icon to not miss out on any of our new videos. Don't hesitate to give suggestions for our videos as well. See you next time.